Hi, guys, and welcome to Tailored Talk. Now, I wanted to talk about two things. Number one, there was a possibility that Foodie's family went with her the first time in the beginning to Kuwait when she first met Salah, as she was offline for a few days. But to me, in my opinion, it's weird that Foodie has now been there for 6 months twice in 3 month periods, 3 month slots, and none of her family have been filmed or have gone with her on any of her trips that we know of. Her mother, Shmi, and her stepfather haven't seen their new son in law. Her sister hasn't seen her new brother in law. Her uncle hasn't gone. And most importantly, Foodie Beauty's partner in crime, the 12-year-old boys will flirt with you in Jamaica. Aunt Phyllis, Foodie Beauty's partner in crime, her ride or die, her kismet family member, Aunt Phyllis hasn't gone yet. And it's just strange that not one family member or friend has accompanied her to Kuwait, even for a short stay, just to see how Foodie is doing, how Foodie is living, and how Salah is really treating her behind the scenes. And that's the main issue, that the main reason that I think her family would choose to go. Because how is Salah really treating her behind the scenes? How is their relationship? How is Foodie living? How is she coping with Kuwait? How is she coping with Salah? You know, and that's really interesting. It would be really interesting for the family. Well, like, how do they feel about that? Because they can't gain the right information from their videos because their videos are so contrived, they're so soap opera like, and they're extremely fake. Guys, if your daughter, your niece, your friend, your stepdaughter, or your sister was going to Kuwait on and off and setting up home there, wouldn't you want to go to check up on her just to see how she's doing? Or do you think that one of them went in the very beginning when they first met just to check Salah out? I just think it's strange that none of them have even planned one trip, like 4 days, a week. I get that it's like across the world, but just to see how their daughter, how their niece, how their sister is getting on in a complete foreign country. You know, do you think they care that much? Do you think they're Skyping and on FaceTime every day or every night? Do you think Foodie's waking up a phone bill because she's calling her family all the time? You know, or do you think the family are going to go to Kuwait sometime soon? Or do you think that after Nada the family were completely done with her bullshit? Let me know in the comments. Secondly, the other thing that I wanted to talk about is a collection of things. I want to talk about Salah, a little bit about his family, Allah, his friend, Muslim family expectations, and Salah's endgame. Now, on social media, there's been kind of a debate there's been a constant debate, actually, as to what Salah really wants. On every platform, people are in two minds. Does Salah want Canada? Or has he given up on Canada? Or has he given up on Canada? And is he just milking Foodie's only fan others dry? I've got to agree with the people that say that Salah's one true love and his main goal always has been and always will be Canada. That is his number one goal because I think he really wants to get out of Kuwait. Even if he was born in Kuwait, he is born to Syrian parents. And because of this, and I think whether his parents and emigrated there and he is born in Kuwait, he's born Both of his parents are Syrian, and because of this, Salah is seen as Syrian and treated accordingly by the government. So he may not get the same job opportunities. That could be why he set up his business with Murad. He may be discriminated against when asked to show his paperwork and passport. He may not get the same access to living accommodation, as we can prove by the many shoeboxes, shoebox apartments that he's had in the past. So in Kuwait, obviously, they're constantly building, they're constantly renovating, and a lot of construction and building jobs are available. But ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at Salah. Look at his body, look at his face, look at his attitude, look at his charm. This man does not want to do manual labor. Salah al-Sultan knows in his heart that he wants to be a pampered sugar baby. He doesn't want to work. He doesn't want to do a 9 to 5. He doesn't want to do a 7 to 3. He doesn't want to do a 6 to 4. He doesn't want to do a 7 to 5. He doesn't want to do a 12 to 12. He's not about that. He's not about that working life. So, in my opinion, Salah in his mind is not lowering himself or sinking that low to do manual labor, construction, or any type, being a waiter, fast working in the fast food places that they frequent so much with his beautiful wife. He's not, in his mind, he's better than working class jobs. And in his defense, he doesn't really have to work a working class job. Not when there were women like Aunt Phyllis, women like Dee Dee, women like Foodie that will happily splash the cash, and a large amount of cash, to pay for his company. Before they first met, allegedly, Alice said that Foodie Beauty had already transferred 9k to secure Salah. So if women are happy to pay nearly 10 grand to secure Salah as a boyfriend, then does Salah actually have to work? So we look at the tiny place that Salah had when he met Foodie. Everybody made fun of it. It looked like a one bedroom place with a toilet. It was just like the sofa, their computer stuff. Foodie couldn't even unpack her clothes. It was in suitcases. Like they were so squished together, and that's when we knew that he wasn't living there. Two people couldn't live in that shoebox. That was when she first got there. Then they moved to a bigger shoebox. Then they kept on moving. There was speculation as to why, but they kept on moving from shoebox to a slightly bigger shoebox, to a fridge, to a dryer. They kept on moving, and now Salah is now living at a beautiful seaside condo that's huge. It's spacious with multiple rooms, multiple beds, multiple bathrooms, and it's a seaside condo that Foodie will continue to pay for even when she's not there. I think that most of the YouTube money she gets is immediately transferred to his account. So yeah, he's gonna try and exploit Foodie for as much money as he can. Hence why they went from here's our gym vlog to here is my wimpy or my pasta or my burger mukbang. So now when he finally gets but Canada is always the goal for him. Now, when or if Salah finally gets there, he'll charm Foodie for a while and keep her sweet before dumping her for a real prospect, a real girlfriend. And at least that's what I think Salah has told his family. Now, I go back to Allah. It makes me want to think back to Allah saying that Salah's father was a professor, he was some kind of teacher, and he had good standing in the community. And because Allah said that, a lot of people thought that Salah's father had a lot of money, and that's what we think. That's what we think when it comes to like if you have a good job, if you have good standing, you automatically have a lot of money, because of the type of job that you do and the type of popularity you have around town. Now, Allah is very sneaky because Salah's father's wealth, his supposed money, is all implied within those sentences. You can be a professor and a teacher and have an average lifestyle. You can have great standing. His supposed wealth, his supposed money is all implied within those sentences. You can be a professor and a teacher and have an average lifestyle. You can have great standing in the community and be broke. I'm not saying that Salah's father is either. I'm just saying that Salah is very good at presenting and painting an image that people are inclined to believe, but may not actually be true. So I've spoken to a couple of Muslim acquaintances, and they say that at Salah's age, his father, late 20s, early 30s, even though Salah looks a hell of a lot older. Like, when people say that Foodie literally drains the life out of you, they're not lying. Everybody that comes into contact with her and lives with her for a period of time, they end up with the same horrified, tortured horror film look across their faces. Like freaking the movie Horror Babes that we were talking about in the other video. Just like they look scarred for life. Like BB, was literally had a face of get me out of here. Pete's gained so much weight. Became balding like her, gained so much weight, and just was able to revel in how much of a bad person he is. You'd be able to sit, her bad habits and her bad personality definitely rubbed off on Pete's for sure. And now we have Salah, who just looks 45, and he's gained a lot of weight because that's what you do when you're surrounded by takeout all the time. And Foodie Beauty is probably pushing takeout in his face. Do you want some of this? Do you want some of this? Do you want some burger? Do you want a hot dog? Do you want a whole kilo of rice? Do you want everything? And it's when you're surrounded by fast food all the time, it's impossible to say no to it sometimes. To say no. So let's take a look at my next point that I was talking about. Yes. So I've spoken to Muslim acquaintances, and they do say that his father, at Salah's age, his father will be putting out feelers in the community for a suitable girl. Not to mention that if Salah's father really did have money, Salah wouldn't be moving from shoebox to shoebox. That's what I'm hearing. His father would have already rented him a place, rented him an apartment, and they would start looking for a potential girlfriend, potential wife. If any Muslims have any opinions on this, please let me know in the comments. The more Muslims that put their input into this, the more that everybody can understand Salah's culture and what he's going through right now. So Allah's smoke screens are probably the same thing that he did probably the same thing that Salah did to Foodie. Allah kind of gaslit us and kind of said, well, he's a professor, he's prestigious, he's got high status in our community. So we just assumed that he had money, like a lot of money, because status and being a professor, in our minds equals money. And that's probably the same thing that Salah did to Foodie. He probably took pictures of his father or his uncle or his friend's place or house, or he may have rented out a large place or a large hotel for a couple of days. Took pictures of himself out on the balcony, on a huge bouncy bed, lounging around, having dinner at a huge table. You know, took fake pictures of the high life just to impress Foodie so that he could catfish his house and keep Foodie hooked. And that's why I think she genuinely thought that she'd be taken care of. Because in the beginning, she was like, he's gonna take care of me. This is gonna be awesome. I won't have to. I'm not paying for him like I did for who. I'm not funding his lifestyle. A man is gonna be taking care of me for once. And then she paid him 9K, and she's been financing him ever since in every aspect of his life, from his housing to his business. Like, I think that she genuinely thought she'd be taken care of by this man for good reason, because he sold her that dream. Then when she actually got there, she was hoodwinked, shoved in a shoebox, he just placed fast food in front of her and said, eat for my money. She was hoodwinked, and now Foodie Beauty can't back out. I love that for her. So, in my opinion, Salah is grifting for the long haul, a bit like Tom on Succession. Spoilers, if you haven't seen Succession yet. I think Salah will stick with Foodie for years. He will ride Foodie Beauty until her wheels fall off. He will stick with her for years until he's finally a Canadian citizen, or Canadian immigration tell him under no circumstances that he can't move. And then he will move on to somebody else. He'll move on to the next Foodie or the next DD or the next female Big Ed, because Salah is ruthless. He does not like Kuwait, and by hook or by crook, he's absolutely determined to move out of Kuwait. Canada is his main destination, and he's not going to stop. He's not going to stop scamming. He's not going to stop leeching, and he's not going to stop grifting and seducing people until he gets to his main goal, which is Canada. He's even more ruthless and twisted than Foodie is in some respects, because nothing is going to stop him from getting in the way of Canada. Mark my words, Salah will be in Canada. It may take months, it may take years, it may take decades, but Salah will be in Canada one way or another. So guys, that's the end of the vid. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.